All right, here is a quick demo on our color theory assignment. And in order to do this, you'll need either some colored pencils or some crayons. You could use paint, you could use a lot of different items, but essentially what you're going to need is primary colors and secondary colors. So you're going to need red, yellow, and blue, and you're going to need green, orange, and violet, or purple. And I'm going to show you, in class we use Prismacolors. So Prismacolors are nicer colored pencils. They are wax based, but they're pretty nice. So here's my my warms. So we've got red, yellow, and orange, and then I've got blue, green right here, and oh, I need a purple. Grab purple real fast. All right, so I got purple. But because you may not be able to come in and get these colored pencils from me, or you just don't have time or whatever since the end of this term, you can, if you want, come in and get a kit of these. But if you can't, I have super cheap colored pencils that I got at Smith's. These are like very, very cheap. I don't even think they're like Crayola. Like, they are really low quality. And I have crayons. So most of you probably have crayons lying around somewhere in the house. If not, you can pick up some really cheap crayons. So I'm going to use all three and show you how you can do this with all three. So here's my blue. I need my purple, and I need green. I want this green. Okay, so there's that, and then cheapos. There we go. These are cheapos. Gotta get orange, purple. Yep, need that one. We need red. We need yellow. And let's see here, we've also we've got purple, we've got orange, yellow, we need a green. Okay, and our blue. Need a better blue than that. Let's see how these two blues work. I'm thinking this blue is probably the one I want. Okay, find out. Those are my best options. Okay, awesome. So notice I have my color options in crayons, and I have my color options in these really cheap colored pencils. So the first thing you want to do is you're going to create a color wheel. So I'm going to create enough space so that I'll be able to put in my tertiary colors, which are like red, yellow, yellow-green, red-violet, blue-violet, that stuff like that, or blue-violet. Anyway, so we're going to do that. So I'm going to start out with, let's just go with crayons first. I'm going to put yellow right at the top. Then we'll do blue. So I'm just going to do a big triangle. Blue and red over here. Okay. And like that. Okay, red, yellow, blue. Then we've got purple, so I'll do that right in the middle here. We've got green right here. And we've got orange right here. Okay, and this is where you're going to mix. So I'm going to do a little bit of orange and then mix that with the yellow and try and find kind of a happy medium between the two. So there's my medium value right there. This is going to be kind of red-orange, so I'll put in some orange, then go over the top of it with the red. So I was going to get that kind of halfway point between here and here. And then we've got purple, so red-violet. It's a good halfway point. And the blue. Blue-violet. Blue-green. So add that. And then here. Let's get a little bit darker. Kind of find a happy medium between the two. There we go. And then yellow-green. So, and some yellow. Throw in a little bit of green. And there we go. Okay. There's our little color chart. You notice how big it is. I just did kind of teeny little like tack-sized dots. I can do the same thing with these. I can do the same thing with my nice Prismacolors. So these are the nicer colored pencils that we use in class. I'm going to demo with crayons because I think those are probably the easiest to come by. So what I'm going to do is you're going to need these colors, and they've got to be the straight color. They can't be a variation of it. So you wouldn't want to pick, say, like a raspberry or a odd color. I'm trying to think of, like, there are so many different names of crayons. Like, it's ridiculous how many shades and values and colors there are out there. So go with like straight red, straight blue, purple, green, yellow, orange, just the flat out, the just basic color. If you go out to the other ones, you're not going to get as good results. So let's start out. We are going to do a 3 pieces of fruit, and these pieces of fruit are going to be shadowed, or we're going to create value for shadow without using black. And the whole goal of this is to understand how to use color. There's nothing wrong with black. In fact, I use black a lot in my paintings, but you have to understand that when you darken a color, that doesn't mean you just add black to it. When you add black to something, it's going to actually change the color so that it shifts colors so it doesn't stay consistent, and it can actually make stuff look kind of dead or sickly or kind of just off. It just doesn't look right. So you have to think about when you're adding color or adding value to color. So like if I were drawing a red ball and I wanted that red ball to look like on one side it was light and on the other side it was dark, going in and just adding black doesn't necessarily work, especially if I were like drawing a piece of fruit. Like if I added black to an apple, that apple would look potentially like rotten. So I'm going to show you how to create shadow using a couple different colors. One is its complement, and complements are colors that are opposite from the color wheel. So if you look at my color wheel, I'll use a pencil on this right here. If you look at my color wheel, these are primary colors. Okay, those are our primary colors, and this is what's called a triad. Those are primary colors, and our secondary colors are the purple, the orange, and the green. It's another triad, so that's our secondary, these are our primary. And then our tertiary, right, these are our tertiary colors. So if I were to go like this, right, and go hit, say, coming across like this, or maybe across like this, or across like this, all of those are tertiary colors. And anyways, if you're to use any color right across from one another on this color wheel, those are complements. And complementary colors are really popular. They're really exciting. They are visually stimulating. And there's a reason why we think like Christmas colors and sunsets are so beautiful, is because they are complementary colors, right? If you look at a sunset, it is purples and yellows and oranges and blues. And why Christmas colors are so beautiful, it's because it's red and green. So that's why complementary colors work so well. When you mix them, when you mix complementary colors, you kind of you go from a really vibrant color and you start to kind of dumb it down, and the color starts to recede. It's not as bright, it's not as vibrant. It tends to get maybe a little bit darker, and it goes towards brown. So to demonstrate that really quickly, I'll just do a series of complements. And I'm just going to do a box here. You can do this if you'd like to. You don't have to, just watch, but I do want you to do the color wheel because that's kind of important. So here is orange and blue. And use this blue. This is a better blue. There we go. Purple and yellow. And I'll do my warm on one side and a cool on the other side. So let's go red. Red. That's a little too pink, but see if I can get my better red out here. Yeah, there we go. Okay. All right, red and green. So these two colors right here, if I were to combine them, so let's add blue to the orange and purple to the yellow and green to the red, we'll see that color shift, and it's going to turn brown, and it's going to become a little bit darker. So if I take the blue right here and I go on top of that orange, right, and I just keep on layering those, you'll notice that it kind of starts to go brown. And as I keep on layering, darker and darker and darker, right? That's how dark we can go. And if I do it with purple on the yellow, keep on adding that. And if I do green on the red, I'm going to go back to that purple really quickly, add that there. And the green on the red, notice that each one of these kind of turns a brownish color, or at least it goes a little bit darker. So, and you can kind of blend crayons really easily because they're wax-based, so they blend really well. So you can see I went from something orange to something much darker, something that was yellow went very much darker, and then I used this and it went a little bit darker. This isn't the only way you can create shadows in objects, but it's one way, it's one method, and I love teaching it because it just kind of opens your eyes to possibilities as far as taking a color and changing it so that it gets darker but doesn't necessarily change value or change color as much as if you were to just add black. So let's do 3 different fruit. We're going to do a red fruit, so it could be like an apple. So I'm just going to draw an apple here. Okay, kind of a shape like this. We'll put in a thing. We'll even put like a leaf there. So there's an apple. We're going to do, and you could do a green apple too if you wanted to, and then flip it so that the red comes into the shadows, but we'll just do this. We'll do an orange. Okay, orange is simple. We'll just draw a circle. And then I tend to do just kind of like a little like flat star at the top for the navel of the orange. And then lastly, we'll do banana. So, okay, banana is just kind of crescent shaped like this, and then it comes up and has the stem there. Okay, that works, something like that. All right. Now we have to keep in mind we're still drawing this, so we have to create shadows and values and all that. So let's use our red, decide where the light's coming from. I think I want the light to kind of come from up top, maybe for a little bit from the left on each of these fruit, kind of keep it consistent. So this is probably what I want as far as the shadow is concerned. So I'm going to put in that red first and foremost, like that. And then I'm going to use the green. So along that core shadow, I'm going to put a little bit of green in there. Not a lot, but enough. And as I add red, you'll notice that red recedes a little bit, gets a little bit darker, and goes in shadow. And I want to highlight here. Maybe I'll put like a highlight right there. Okay. Right there. So that green is going to act as that shadow underneath here. I don't need to make it super dark. But notice how we have this nice shadow in the green. And I don't want to add a ton of green to it, but if I keep on layering that red over the top of it now, it's just going to take that red down to a darker value. Same with the orange. Right, kind of sit it like this. Right, my core shadow is going to kind of go like that if this was underneath there. So there's that. And blue is pretty strong, so I don't need a lot of it. So I'll just kind of barely hint at it, go like this. And now I have my shadow for the orange. Right, then we can come back in. I'll maybe make a little bit of highlight right there. Oranges are kind of bumpy, so it doesn't need to be like a perfect circle there. It can kind of just like sit like that. And the banana, purple is really strong. So I don't want to put a ton of purple in, very lightly. But this will be my dark side of the banana, so very lightly I'm just going to come in. Sorry for the shaky camera. But you can see how I created that yellow and went just a hair darker with the purple. And then I can add the yellow back into it and kind of blend it. So that's kind of the beginning of what we want to do. Now I can add some other colors to enhance what I already have here. For example, if I take some yellow and add it to this red up in here, it'll turn a little orange. It might tend to go towards this direction here, but it's going to make a really vibrant, beautiful red. And same with right here. If I go in and add some orange, or some yellow into this orange, it's going to make that orange really pop. And then I can go back in with the purple and kind of refine my banana. And if you wanted it to be more of a green banana, right, like it's been freshly picked and still not super ripe, which is I tend to be my favorite banana. I like it to be a little green. And so you could add a little bit of green into it if you wanted. And you know, it's up to you. It's whatever you want to do. But that is the exercise. I also want to do the cast shadow. The cast shadow can be created by the same colors. So I'll take my red And again, cast shadow, if I have my light source coming like this and like this, it's just going to go like that, roughly. And then add my green. Okay, so I've got my cast shadow there. Cast shadows sometimes will reflect the colors of the object of which they're being cast from. So I'll go in here, put the orange there, and then take my blue and do the same thing here. My cast shadow. And the banana. There. There we go. So I'm going to add the yellow now to my apple. It's going to tend to turn just a little bit orange, but I'll add some red in there so it'll kind of tend to go towards this way on the color wheel. But I still want it to be a red apple, so it's just going to be a little bit of a brighter red. So you can see now I've kind of created this nice red apple. It's got a little highlight there. It's nice and shiny. My orange, come in like this and then add the yellow onto that. So you can see how I can add some more blue onto that if I wanted, and make sure I have my core shadow nice and dark. There. And I'll just finish the banana here. Now, that does not mean that you can't add other colors to this, or doesn't mean that you have to use the complement, but this is one method that you can use to create shadows in your object, because the complementary color will make the object, the part of that object, recede back, and then the warmer part will come forward. It will be brighter, your eye will be attracted to it, and so naturally your eye kind of creates this illusion as you're looking at it that the warmer part is in the light and the shadow part is going to be in the dark like this. Some things you can add to these. Granted, I need to finish the leaf here. Let's put the leaf in. And I'm going to combine the red and the green for this stem. I will get a little bit more of a brown like that, so that's pretty easy there. I could put a leaf on this if I wanted. And can continue to add more green on the banana if I wanted to. I could also add purple or a blue to the apple if it was a really cool colored apple, meaning it was, it didn't have a lot of really warm reds in it. It was more of a like a red delicious or something that was super red and even tended to go towards kind of a purple-ish color, right? I could do that if I wanted to. I could add, some red to this orange if I wanted to make it a little bit more orange, a little warmer, right? Lots of options. And continue. So I suggest take a look at a real piece of fruit, pull it out, and then look and see what colors do you see in the color wheel. What colors are you observing in the lights and in the darks? And if you do that, you'll realize or kind of come to see that that just using one color doesn't really necessarily solve all of our problems when we're trying to draw or trying to color an item, and also using black is not necessarily always the answer too. So anyway, hope that helps. Hope you enjoyed that little demo, and now you can have fun with super basic crayons, super basic colored pencils, and just a normal piece of paper.